A very good morning to you. It is the 17th day of July 2025, 198th day of the year. That means 167 days remaining until the end of the year. This is Morning Cafe. How hot is your coffee this morning? My name is Ann Odida. Karibu sana.
And my name is Eric Munene. Thank you so much for finding time to join us for Kenya's hottest conversation.
Absolutely.
So, we're about to take you
to the local dailies.
To the local dailies first.
Yes.
Before we take them to work, school, or their favorite destination.
Kabisa.
Like the good people we are. All right, what do we have in the local dailies today?
Daily Nation by-elections test for Ruto, Raila, and Gachagua.
The Standard has executives Lapdog, and that is about the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. We'll be delving into that in a few.
People Daily, why Kenyans are turning against President Ruto.
And the Star, ODM starts 2027 plan as Raila weighs his options.
All right, that's the Star. Taifa Leo, Gachagua, Ruto, kupimana nguvu. A lot of newspapers agreeing today so far.
And the Business Daily has billionaire Munga links to the 468 billion shillings new expressway. And that is the expressway being constructed in partnership with the US company Everstrong. Yeah.
All right, and the State of the Nation today?
On the State of the Nation, we'll be having Wilson Sossion, who's the former Secretary General of NAT and also a former legislator. We also have Dr. Peter Mbai, who's the Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs for the Democracy for the Citizen Party, a party that is associated, or rather led by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. We also have Professor Fred Ogola, who's a governance expert, and Ngunjiri Wambugu, who's a former MP, Nyeri Town.
All right, that will be coming your way starting 6:30. Let's take a look at the regional dailies now. We start off in Uganda. This is the new vision. Security deploys heavily in hotspots. NRM poll set for today. 2,148 fight for 499 MP slots in NRM. And yesterday, unajua uliuliza, why is it that only NRM?
Don't we have any other parties in Uganda?
You know, Kwanza, in New Vision, they really, really love NRM. Museveni is always on the front page. It's just today that he's not here. But, you know, we are asking about UPDF. Where are they?
Yeah, where are they? Are they not making news as well? On top of that paper, we also have UNEP to start setting mock exams.
Government donates cars to cultural leaders. This is the Vice President, Jessica Alupo, leading that program there. Of course, as government donates cars to cultural leaders. Former Makerere Vice Chancellor Professor Lubobi dead. That story is on page 6. World Bank boss on her tour of duty in Uganda. And finance audits pay for domestic arrears. That story is on page 6. That's the new vision. Tukisalia kule Uganda.
You have the Daily Monitor. Moment of truth as NRM again decides. They have their own internal polls. The candidates are tussling it out to be elected official party flag bearers for 353 direct constituency seats and 146 district woman MP slots. You can see there how they are going to be distributed. We have Teso, Ngariam counties, Soroti City. Okay, well, yeah, that's how it is. Quite an interesting election there coming up in Uganda.
We have Acholi, West Nile, Lango, Toro, and Bunyoro, Kigezi, and Kole, and of course the central regions in Uganda. These are the cities in Uganda, of course, where the NRM will be picking up MPs, 499 contesting for seats there.
Well, and just below that paper, there's a strip, a very interesting story and an encouraging one. There's an agency in Uganda which seeks a new policy to keep pregnant girls in school. The story is on page 3. That is very, very encouraging. On that health bit still, we have 76% reduction in mothers infecting babies with HIV. That is in Uganda. The Joint United Nations Program on HIV/AIDS has hailed Uganda's efforts for reducing mother-to-child transmission of HIV by 76%, and that is between the years 2010 and 2024. Well, there's a very interesting story top there. UN experts report angers Kagame and Muhoozi. The story is on page 9. Muhoozi is the military boss in Uganda, and also happens to be the son to the president, that is Museveni.
He's always angry. So we can't say that you and other people making him mad today. Muhoozi is always angry.
So you're saying for Kagame it's justified, for Muhoozi
well,
just a normal day?
Yes. For Muhoozi it's a normal day. More education ministry officials quizzed over 19 billion shillings theft in Uganda. That story is on page 2. Let's cross over to Tanzania. Kule Bongo, gazeti la Mwananchi. Saa 72 moto Chama cha Mapinduzi. Also in Tanzania, we see so much about CCM, Chadema, walipotea. Because ever since, and is here today, Tundu Lissu is on the front page of the gazeti la Mwananchi after a very long time. Anasema Lissu ashusha kombora tena mahakamani, kesi ya kuchapisha taarifa za uongo inayomkabili mwenyekiti wa Chadema Tundu Lissu imeendelea jana, huku akiwarushia kombora maofisa. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 6 wa gazeti hili la Mwananchi. Lakini the main story here is saa 72 moto Chama cha Mapinduzi, hatima ya wagombea waliopenya kuliwa kichwa hadharani. Daktari Nchimbi akesha na timu yake usiku mnene. Wabunge madiwani wabadilishiwa utaratibu wa kujinadi, huko viti maalumu hali tete, wagombea pressure. These are different stories here. Msimamo wa CCM kwa wagombea ni kwamba CCM safari hii hatutaki kujichosha, hatutaki kubeba mizigo kama umepakia kwenye mkokoteni halafu unasukuma, hatutaki. Mnasema mtu fulani mitano tena, je, anakubalika? Lakini uamuzi wa mwisho ni wajumbe. Hii ni kulingana na Steven Wasira. Hawa ni baadhi ya watainia wa ubunge katika jimbo la Vunjo na Moshi vijijini kwa tiketi ya CCM, wakiwa kwenye kikao na taasisi ya kuzuia na kupambana na rushwa TAKUKURU mkoa wa Kilimanjaro hapo juzi. Saa 72 tu moto kule Chama cha Mapinduzi. Inaonekana kuwa siasa kule zimechacha moto. Kumbuka kwamba watafanya uchaguzi wao mkuu katika mwaka huu mwezi wa Oktoba tarehe 28. Mgombeaji wa urais wa chama cha CCM akitarajiwa kuwa Rais Samia Suluhu, lakini upinzani umesema kwamba no reforms, no elections. And that's why we're seeing Tundu Lissu there in court, kushusha kombora tena mahakamani. Well, the story is on page 6 if you want to grab your copy of Mwananchi to get to see what is it that Tundu Lissu said yesterday when he was presented before court. Ripoti ya elimu kasi wanawake kukacha vyuo vikuu ya shtua. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 2. Na matarajio ya Watanzania dira mwaka 2050. Tanzania leo inaandika historia nyingine wakati Rais Samia Suluhu Hassan atakapozindua dira ya maendeleo ya mwaka 2050. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 5. On the top strip, danadana soko la Kariakoo na kilio cha wajasiriamali. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 12 gazeti la Mwananchi. Tukisalia kule Bongo, kwenye gazeti la The Citizen, mobile transfer hit 18 trillion shillings as digital payments surge. This is according to the central bank in Tanzania, which says in its monetary policy report for the month of July this year that the continued growth underscores the country's accelerating digital transformation and rising public confidence in electronic payment platforms. The story is on page 2. That just underscores how digital penetration and internet penetration has really grown in Africa, and especially the East African region. And just at the bottom there, rollout of 5G network, another story related to that, reaches 26%. That is quite huge. Remember, we are slowly moving from the 4G network to the 5G network. And I'm saying it's quite huge because in Africa, the rollout of 5G network has been slow in very many sub-Saharan countries. But, well, 26% in Tanzania, that's quite huge. The story is on page 2. Yep. Yala wraps up sessions with key matters pending. Read full story, answer the business paper and the Citizen. This is President Samia Suluhu Hassan receiving the Power of 100 African Women Award from Access Bank Group, presented by the board chairman of Access Bank Tanzania, right here on the front page of the Citizen. On the top strip, can the East Africa Commission walk the talk as it chairs Africa's largest trade bloc? That's a question there on page 11 of this newspaper. And if you cross over to Matters International News, conflict, Ukraine's cautious joy as Trump reverses arms supply stance. That story is on page 16.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look at the weather situation across various parts
of the country.
Yes, we start off in Kilifi, the coastal area, 24 degrees as we speak, feels like 26. Partly cloudy day, highs of 27 degrees. Precipitation in Kilifi today, 2.0 millimeters. Very minimal rain in Kilifi today. How about Siaya, Nyanza region?
Siaya region in Nyanza region feels like 18 degrees. We'll have highs of 27, quite sunny at around 1 p.m. Some slight showers from 3 p.m. Yep. All
right. Trans Nzoia, and 14 degrees this morning, feels like it. Light rain. It's actually raining in Trans Nzoia County as we speak this morning. Yep. Highs of 23 degrees. It's quite cold. Precipitation here, 2.2 millimeters. It will rain up until 10 a.m. You'll rest kidogo, and then it will continue starting 1 p.m. thereabout. Yep. In Nanyuki this morning.
Well, Nanyuki, it's 14 degrees Celsius, but feels like 13. We'll have highs of 23 at around 1 p.m. Some slight showers also expected in Nanyuki. Precipitation
1.7.
Right, it's 1.7. Yes.
All right. Let's go over to Makueni County. 17 degrees, feels like it. Partly cloudy day. Highs of 28 degrees in Makueni. Precipitation today is 0.2 millimeters. Hapo itakuwa tu mist. Nothing much. How about Wajir?
Well, there we are, Wajir. 24 degrees, feels like 26 currently. We'll have highs of 32, quite hot. That is expected from at around 2 p.m. It'll be cloudy from 7 p.m. all the way to mid-morning. Precipitation 0.0.
0.0, no chance of rain, hata kidogo. And finally, Nairobi.
The city under the sun.
Absolutely. This morning, it's 14 degrees, feels like it. Mostly cloudy day. Highs of 22 degrees, a very chilly day. Precipitation in Nairobi, 1.4 millimeters. And this will go on up until next week.
Yep.
At least next week, Friday, we'll be seeing highs of 24 degrees, which will be the highest so far this month. Let's take a look at the traffic situation. 14 minutes past 6. Tuangalie major tributaries to towns inakaja. You know, Thursday is the new Friday. Tuone kama wataenda kazi ama kama bado wameamka. Wamelala, that is. You can see the Muthaiga interchange building up slowly right there at the Muthaiga Square. But nothing much if you go way back to Thika Road. So ukitaka kutoka kwa nyumba, this is the right time. Yep. 6:15, clear roads. Hapo Thika Road, nothing much even at Garden City. Usually here it's a trouble spot, but it's clear now.
It's all clear.
Going back to Kiambu Road, clear as well. So perfect time kutoka kwa nyumba. The roads are clear. If you go way back, it's building up slowly hapa in town, around Gikomba area. Hapa ni matatu, nothing much there as well. Makadara area, matatu too, clear roads as well. If you go back to Mama Lucy Kangundo Road, also building up slowly. We're seeing already there's some red spotting there. But if you go, yes, in Saika there, Kangundo Road, New Njeru Town, clear. The eastern side of town, there's something here, the Embakasi area, Eastern Bypass. Just
something building up.
Right here, kuna matatu and a little bit of traffic there. Remember, it's 6:15 a.m. This is South B, also magari kidogo kidogo. If you go way back, Kule Westlands, Waiyaki Way, clear roads as well, nothing much to report about on this other side of town. Ni watu wa work from home, their roads are clear. So perfect traffic today. Thursday, say this is 16 minutes past 6. Let's take a look at the quote of the day. No one else lives in your shoes, so walk your journey with boldness. Your truth is valid even if misunderstood. All right, let's come back and take a look at the local dailies. And we start off with the Daily Nation this morning. By-elections test for Ruto, Raila and Gachagua is the main headline. 6 National Assembly seats, 1 senatorial post and 15 member of county assembly vacancies up for grabs. And the stage is set for a supremacy contest pitting Kenya's political bigwigs. That is President Ruto and ODM chief Raila Odinga on one side against former DP Gachagua and the united opposition on the other in upcoming mini polls for 22 electoral positions whose outcomes could trigger shifts and new alliances ahead of the 2027 general election. This story has been covered on page 4 and 5. They say bigwigs sharpen their claws for 2027 dress rehearsals. The stage is set once again for a supremacy contest among political bigwigs, and that means 6 National Assembly seats, 1 senatorial position and 15 member of county assembly vacancies are up for grabs in by-elections that have been delayed for months due to the lack of a fully constituted IEBC. And with the IEBC team now in office, the alliance is pitting President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga on one side against former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and ex-Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka on the other face a stern test. Now, the newly installed IEBC chairman Erastus Ethekon told this newspaper yesterday that the commission was putting its house in order to deal with the myriad items on its entry, including the mini polls.
Yes, and I can imagine the matters that are on its entry. We also have the delimitation of boundaries. I wouldn't envy to be the chair of the IEBC right now, because when people see IEBC, they only think about elections. There are other things that they are supposed to do as mandated by the Constitution. A lot is on their entry. 22 is the number of total electoral vacancies that will be contested in the coming by-elections. Quite a huge number.
Absolutely. Voter education, bado.
Bado.
All right. Other stories here. Health scare. Ministry steps in after mystery illness claims 4 lives in Mombasa. This report was released on Tuesday night. Yep. They say Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni says a rapid response team has been dispatched to Migadini, Mombasa to establish the cause of the deaths. On the top strip, why Kenyans are paying more for fuel. State opts not to tap fuel subsidy, leading to highest price hike in 2 years. And this has brought a lot of discourse. Of course, Tangier fuel prices went up by 9 shillings on April 14.
Yes.
And they say, this story has been covered on page 12. Let's take a look at it.
The Daily Nation. Like you're saying, really, there's been a lot of noise about the fuel price increase, because now you know when the fuel prices go up, you expect everything else to go up. The cost of living goes up as well. So page 12, in depth.
Treasury CS fails to disclose whether the Petroleum Development Levy kitty has been depleted, and the government has denied consumers relief at the pump for the second consecutive month after it opted not to tap the full subsidy to prevent pump prices from jumping by 9 shillings per litre. And in the latest price review that ends on August 15, pump prices were not subsidized, adding to the previous monthly cycle, that is June 15th to July 14th. All right, that consumers missed out on the subsidy.
Yep.
That is June 15th last month.
Last month, yes.
And July 14th this month, of course.
Yes.
Pump prices on Monday this week jumped by the biggest margin in over 2 years, with the litre of petrol increasing by 9 shillings to 186 shillings 31 cents in Nairobi. The price of a litre of diesel jumped by 8 shillings to 171 shillings 58 cents, and that is in the capital city, while that of kerosene jumped by 9 shillings 65 cents to 156 shillings 58 cents.
And part of the reason for that, according to the Treasury, is because it says it has in the past struggled to pay off oil marketers under the fuel subsidization program. The paper says that underscores the underside of government's efforts to cushion the consumers from high fuel prices.
Still on the top strip of the Daily Nation equity heist, bank blocked from raising cost of 83 million shillings loan for its sacked internal audit boss. That story is on page 6. And on the back page of this newspaper, seize the moment, win our first match. Stars coach McCarthy reveals his hand, and Blue Host will be without Kenyan Premier League top scorers Shuma and Osoro. President Ruto gives a pep talk to Kenya players. You wanted to say something? And then?
No, yeah. I just want to say that, you know, the South African coach, that is Benny McCarthy, has said that he will not listen to a lot of noise. You know, sometimes football fans can make a lot of noise, especially when the lineup is announced, but he said he's going to ignore all that. And that's why he's telling people, just seize the moment, win our first match first, so that you see what I have been cooking.
On the Chan News 2024 African Nations Champions, 16 days to go. Are we ready, really? I'm seeing our stadium, bado ndio tunapambana pale.
Tunapambana hapa na pale.
But it's looking good so far.
Yes.
That's the Daily Nation.
Yeah. Let's cross over to the Standard. Well, the Standard says the NCIC could be the executive's lapdog. So born out of the 2007-2008 bloodshed to curb hate fuel violence, the commission now faces accusations of selective justice as President William Ruto's allies fan ethnic tensions. Now, the commission is seen as barking at dissenters but muting itself when power peddles hate. And so now observers are saying it's no longer just a sleep at the wheel, it may be complicit. The story is on page 4 and 5 of the Standard. And quite interestingly, the Standard has quoted a few people who've been caught issuing careless statements there. There's MP for Tiati, that is William Kamket. You remember what he said? If you think the Rungu-wielding goons who stormed Nairobi are trouble, come back next week and you'll know who the Pokot youth are. That was quite reckless from him. Nelson Koech, Belgut MP, who's also the National Assembly's chair of the Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee, who said, who told you we would only serve for just one term? They should not mistake us for cowards. We are also capable of planning. Of course, we have ODM Secretary General there, Edwin Sifuna. On the other hand, he's complaining. He says we have institutions like NCIC, whose job is to summon leaders like Sifuna. I haven't seen them summoning UDA, members of parliament, and allies of President Ruto. Caleb Amisi is questioning the efficiency and effectiveness of NCIC. Do they have any teeth? Do they bite? Or is it just holding a press conference and after the press conference doesn't solve anything?
Now, NCIC has been accused of looking the other way as Ruto allies talk ethnic embers. They say a section of politicians, most of them allies of President William Ruto, have recently cast off all pretenses and are spewing hate with reckless abandon. As this happens, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, a body tasked with combating hate mongering, finds itself fending off accusations of either favoritism or ineffectiveness in cracking down on incitement. And as the Standard says, this NCIC was born out of the 2007-2008 bloodshed to curb hate-fueled violence. But so far, according to this newspaper, they are not living up to that.
Yes, and NCIC is also blaming funding for the shortfall for its weak bite on hate. So that is quite a confession from the commission. So toothless NCIC blames funding shortfall for its weak bite on hate. That is on page 5 of the Standard. NCIC sought 750 million shillings for the 2025-2026 fiscal year, but got 568 million, hampering its work. With more funds, NCIC says it will boost hate speech, probe sensitization drives to, of course, curb hate speech.
Really? Pesa ndio inafanya wasifanye kazi?
Wanasema pesa kidogo ndio imekuwa changamoto kubwa. So at a glance, among the functions of NCIC includes enhancing tolerance, understanding and acceptance of diversity in all aspects of national life. It has a lot of work there. I'll just touch on two more: initiate, lobby for, and advocate for policy, legal, or administrative reforms on issues affecting ethnic relations. And then monitor and report to the National Assembly the status and success of implementation of its recommendation, which is quite funny because now, since some of those implicated in hate speech are members of the National Assembly, so when NCIC now reports back to them, again, it causes some, problem. Right there.
How officials swindled 2.2 billion shillings from students' health scheme. A special audit has exposed how ineligible learners benefited from the government's Edu Afya medical cover, and officials made suspect remittances amounting to 2.2 billion shillings to the defunct NHIF.
Yep.
Same, once again, 16 billion shillings. That is a medical cover wrote for the 4 financial years between 2020 and 2024. However, this amount differed with the actual remittances of 16.46 billion shillings made by the ministry during that period. Special audit exposes excess remittance, unaccounted billions in Edu Afya scheme. A lot is happening in the education sector of late.
Another day, another scandal. The back page of the Standard. Sports. Liverpool eye blockbuster bid for Newcastle star striker Isaac. That is Alexander Isaac. There's a picture there, a very interesting one, in a match between Newcastle and Liverpool. Seems he just scored. Yes, he celebrates his goal during the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool at Wembley Stadium in London. That is on March 16 this year. He's been linked with a move to Liverpool. Well, yesterday they had a transfer talk about him. He's expected to rival Liverpool is actually expected to rival Newcastle for Hugo Ekitike. Also, Reds also interested in Oli Watkins and Victor Osimhen, and Eintracht Frankfurt reject Magpies' written offer for Ekitike. Well, the transfer season is going to be very, very interesting before the season resumes, the APL season resumes. Are you a fan of football, Rida?
Arsenal. Fred and I, we are supporting Arsenal, so we don't accept Arsenal slander on this show.
Oh, you don't accept
we don't take Arsenal slander.
Well, we do it off camera.
People Daily, why Kenyans are turning against President Ruto. They say few would have imagined that public chants calling for his removal would be so resounding just 2.5 years after he successfully ascended to the highest office in the land. The tide has dramatically reversed. That story is on page 4, due to the interest of time. Other highlights here: Gachagua lands big catch ahead of Malava by-election. The story has been covered on the front page of the Daily Nation as well. By-election test for Ruto, Raila, Gachagua. More on that newspaper as well. And on page 8 of the People Daily, the scandal of rising fuel prices. Hapo tutagusia kidogo tu. And they're saying Kenya's recent fuel price hike are pushing pump cost above those in neighboring countries like Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda. Has triggered a storm of public and political backlash, with the critics accusing the government of overtaxing fuel and using levies as a backdoor borrowing tools. And in the latest review, EPRA raised prices of super petrol, diesel, and kerosene in Nairobi by, of course, 9 shillings, 8.7 shillings, and 9 shillings 65 cents per litre, respectively. There was something that Kiharu MP Ndinjoro said yesterday, which it's here. Yeah. Kiharu MP.
Securitization of the
yes.
levy.
And he said he dismissed the rationale, pointing out that global oil prices peaked in mid-2023 and have since stabilized. According to him, the real problem lies in punitive taxation and opaque fiscal maneuvers. Nyoro also revealed that the government had secretly introduced a 7 shillings per litre levy last year, right when global prices were declining, and is securitized this revenue stream to borrow 175 shillings, that is billion shillings, without parliamentary approval. The loan, he claims, doesn't appear in official public debt records.
And we heard the Treasury CS Mbadi yesterday issue a rebuttal, said that there's nothing secret about the fuel levy securitization, and he says there's no apologies to make. He also defended the government's decision to securitize part of the fuel levy, dismissing claims, of course, by the former Budget and Appropriations Committee chairperson, that is Ndindi Nyoro.
All right. How 2 billion shillings student insurance money was looted. Daily Nation and People Daily agreeing. This is Standard and People Daily agreeing on that story there. That's the People Daily.
On the Star, the inner circle of ODM seems to be split, with some wanting ODM leader Raila Odinga to support Ruto. The headline there, ODM starts 2027 plan as Raila weighs his options. The story is on page 4 and 5 of the Star. Just to go through it very fast. You see the ODM party starting its 2027 polls plan as Raila weighs in his options. Raila inner circle remains split, with some urging him to back President William Ruto re-election, while others push for a direct challenge, especially in light of mounting public discontent with the UDA administration. Well, we wait to see how the rebranding strategy is going to look like. Well, and you must agree that these are political titans, ODM leader Raila Odinga and the UDA leader who happens to be President William Ruto. Just below that,
Kasarani all set for China as Ruto inspects kick-off venue. It's just 16 days to go. On the top strip audit, Gathungu denied access to NHIF system as she flags 32 billion shillings variance. And news, MOU there, the Star, this newspaper in China, Daily Africa, signed content sharing deal. That's the Star. Fresh, independent and different. You can grab a copy of this newspaper at 60 Kenyan shillings, 1,000 Tanzanian shillings and 2,000 Ugandan shillings. Taifa Leo, Gachagua, Ruto kupimana nguvu. Ushindi wa chama cha Gachagua utamkweza kisiasa, naye rais ataonekana bado ndiye kusema mlimani. Anasema iwapo mgombeaji wa rais atashindwa, itakuwa ishara ya kudidimia kwa umaarufu wake kuelekea mwaka 2027. And on the other hand, za quote and quote, uchaguzi mdogo unatazamiwa kuwa uwanja wa mapambano ya kisiasa kati ya Rais Ruto na Gachagua. Hatua ya kuunda upya tume huru ya uchaguzi na mipaka IEBC imefungua njia kwa uchaguzi mdogo kujaza viti 22 ambao unaweza kubadilisha kabisa taswira ya siasa za Kenya na kuwa mtihani muhimu kwa mapambano ya ubabe kati ya Rais William Ruto na aliyekuwa naibu wake Rigathi Gachagua na hata kiongozi wa ODM Raila Odinga. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili wa gazeti hili. Vidokezo zaidi ni kwamba
DCI wateka mazishi ya aliyeuawa. Why would they do that? Mwanafunzi aliyepigwa risasi na polisi wiki jana alizikwa katika hafla iliyosimamiwa na DCI. Taarifa kamili katika ukurasa wa 3 wa Taifa Leo. Mazishi bila maiti au jeneza. Familia ya mhudumu wa maabara aliyetoweka ghafla mwezi mmoja uliopita eneo la Kerio yaandaa mazishi ya kipekee. Taarifa hiyo inapatikana kwenye ukurasa wa 4 wa Taifa Leo. Nigeria ya muaga Buhari. Aliyekuwa rais wa Nigeria Muhammad Buhari azikwa nyumbani kwake jana. Taarifa hiyo kwenye ukurasa wa 8. Kwenye taarifa za spoti, mwanasoka nyota Yamal mashakani. I saw that story about Yamal celebrating his 18th birthday. It was an unusual celebration. Alialika mbilikimo nyumbani kwake kumtumbuiza akiadhimisha siku ya kuzaliwa. And that story is on page 20.
Which team are you supporting, Eric?
Myself. Locally or internationally?
Internationally.
Internationally, Manchester United. Locally, Mathare United.
All right. That's Taifa Leo. And finally, Business Daily, billionaire Munga links to 468 billion shillings new expressway. They say billionaire businessman Peter Munga has joined forces with the firm behind the planned 468 billion shillings expressway between Nairobi and Mombasa in a partnership that offers the tycoon a piece of the lucrative infrastructure sector. Everstone Capital, a US-based infrastructure investment firm incorporated in Mauritius and behind the Mega Road project, is now part of a company under Mr. Munga's business empire called QuickBuzz Limited. That story is on page 2 of the Business Daily.
Well, and let's talk matters internet. South African fund to buy 35% stake in Kenyan internet firm. Microsoft-backed Kenyan internet service provider Mawingu Networks is selling 35% stake to a South African company for an undisclosed amount. That is months after raising 1.9 billion shillings in debt financing from a pool of investors. Quite huge. And we've just talked about internet penetration, especially in East Africa, quite huge. So I'm sure the South African company is looking to cash in.
All right. On the ticker, consumers denied fuel prices subsidy, second month in a row. That is quite interesting. We've talked about it on the People Daily. Dominance of big three oil firms weakens, and Dormans lands coffee supply deal with Australian cafe chain. That's the Business Daily. On the State of the Nation once more.
Well, on the State of the Nation, we will have a big conversation today about matters regarding the country. Wilson Sossion, the former SG Nat and former MP, will be here. Dr. Peter Mbai is also expected to grace our show today. The Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs of DCP, that is former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, new party. Professor Fred Ogola, who is a governance expert, is also expected to grace the show. Ngunjiri Wamburu is a former legislator representing Nyeri Town constituency, is also expected to grace the show this morning.
All right, tuangalie caricature. We start off with the Star. Maraga here tied to something looking like a pig. And of course, anasema he's contesting and getting ready for the 2027. He has already declared that he is going for the top, most contested seat, the top political seat, the presidency.
Yeah.
Lakini anajipima hapa nguvu, ni yeye ataweza kweli.
He's doing push-ups over there. He shows he has the will and the power to, steer the nation. But again, the piggy bank, the issue of finances is dragging him, according to that caricature. But he's appealed for finances from Kenyans.
He said he can only raise, is it 2 million?
1 to 2 million.
All right.
Yep.
The Star.
Well, my people, as you can see, they are rigging the 2027 election. That is Mheshimiwa, that caricature there by Stano, as Mheshimiwa, with unsubstantiated claims, saying that, my people, as you can see, they're trying to rig the 2027 election, but he has cast a very huge shadow there of violence, which is quite true, sadly, funny but true and sad.
That's the People Daily. The Standard, the pain of the bullets. Mothers, parents are, feeling the pain of having to lose their loved ones and their children at very young ages. 20 years, this is 26, 21, 19, 12 years, 30 years. Of course, after the protest, Sabasaba protest, Gen Z protests, a lot is happening. Pain of the bullet.
Quite sad to lose lives so young.
Finally, Daily Nation.
Global fuel prices. So they're saying there, President William Ruto holding the fuel pump with a G2G oil deal on his attire. And then we have Kenyans down there, weighed down by taxes and levies, 16% VAT on fuel levy there. But the world is asking what global fuel prices. I mean, it's only in Kenya, right?
All right. Later on today, being a Thursday, it's Health Thursday. We'll be hosting Dr. Kireki Omano, a fertility specialist at Frontline Medical Services. We'll be talking about male infertility in men. Be sure to stay tuned and be on standby for this conversation and, of course, State of the Nation coming right now after this very short break. But meanwhile, do stand by, stay with us. Interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 News KE. My handle is at Ann_Udida. The hashtag is Morning Cafe.
I'm Eric_Mnene. Remember, you can also be part of this conversation that we're about to have. 2022 047 is our SMS line, which remains open.
Stay with us.
is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's mind. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50, going upwards, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's mind. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water.
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50 going upwards, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. This is Morning Cafe. We're about to talk about the biggest news making headlines in the country right now. You remember you can be part of this conversation. 22047 is our SMS line. The lines are open. You can be part of that conversation. Tell us what you think. My X handle is Eric_Mnene. Let's keep this going. I have with me in studio Dr. Peter Mbai, who's the Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs, the Democracy for the Citizen Party. Right next to him is Professor Fred Ogola, who's a governance expert. And then next to him is Wilson Susion, former SG, Kenya National Union of Teachers, and also a former legislator. And Ngunjiri Wambugu, who's also a former legislator representing Nyeri Town constituency. Gentlemen, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Aaron.
I want us to talk about the story that has made headlines on the Standard, and that is the executive's lapdog. The Standard seems to suggest that the NCIC is the executive's lapdog. The commission was born out of the 2007-2008 bloodshed to curb the hate-fueled violence. And as President William Ruto's allies fan ethnic tensions, the commission is seen as backing at dissenters but muting itself when power peddles hit. And I want to hear from Dr. Peter Mbaye what you think about that headline there.
Thank you so much, Eric. It's very simple. Unfortunately, we have what we call independent institutions. They were meant to be actually very independent. They were meant to cushion the local mwananchi, and that's why they are funded directly. You know, they are in charge of their own, procurement, their own recruitment. It doesn't go through the Public Service Commission, so that they can act. And remember, this came out of the 2010 Constitution, when before there was a lot of interference by the state. The executive was interfering with every other public sector. So there were these bodies that were created so that they can cushion the Kenyans. They can do something without, you know. Actually, they operate more or less the same level like the judiciary. Only that, of course, because of management and all that, somehow they have some linkages to the executive. But now, unfortunately, it is very clear. Actually, Kenyans feel cheated because the kind of things they are doing, you can see clearly. You know, you don't have to be told. You can see clearly there's a linkage. There is some linkage, a lot of linkages with the executive. When you say about independence, it should be seen. You know, everybody should not just sense it. It should be seen to be working. Okay. So when, for example, you see many people make a lot of inflammatory remarks, they are not invited. Then one day, for example, the second deputy president saying something in reference to what they said, then he is told to come. All Kenyans can see through. And let me tell you, like, once you lose confidence, once you lose the trust of the people, you are done. You know, people just say, okay, fine, that's another, you know, that's another whatever of the executive. Let's leave it. Let me give another example of IPOA. IPOA was meant to actually check the police, but we saw the chairman literally complaining, saying there's no budget, saying their own. Listen to this: their own officers are not armed. Yet they are supposed to go and arrest officers who are armed. Now, the other day they said they have no resources. And they are saying they expect the same police to arrest. So we need to look to be serious about these things. Yeah. We hope that they can, right now all these cases about IPOA, we'd want to know, for example, how many have gone through. Out of the many cases across the country, Kenyans have reported. And that's why I'm saying, unfortunately, it was supposed to be independent, but it's been interfered with or maybe denied resources deliberately to make them not work. So, unfortunately, Kenyans can see through. Kenyans are able to know whether whatever they voted for, whatever they passed in the Constitution, whether it is working. It's unfortunate, but that's the truth.
Okay. Professor Ogola, and a commission that came out of the agenda of the National Dialogue and Reconciliation process after the 2007-2008 post-election violence that caused bloodshed in the country. What do you think about that commission currently?
Fred, I think a lot has been said, and maybe almost there's nothing new that needs to be said. That's why we formed the commission called the People's Restorative Justice Commission, because most commissions are there just to give people jobs. You see how many jobs, how these are being given jobs there, appointments, take taxpayers' money. But go back to 2007 elections, post-election violence. How many victims have been restored their justice? How many people have been compensated? How are we running away from that moment? If you look at the temperature in the country, it's like we are right there. When someone says one term, half term, that is now the opposition, and the government says 2027 to 2032 is non-negotiable, then the president says, if there's no Kenya for me, there's no Kenya for you, which if you interpret clearly means, if I'm not president, there's no Kenya. Now, how are you looking at this if you compare now?
What's the interpretation really, Professor?
Look at his word. You can play that clip. He says, if there's no Kenya for me,
as an individual,
there's no Kenya for you. Listen clearly. People are saying leave office, are not saying you die. So it says, if I'm not in office, then there's no Kenya. That's what it says. It means, friend, Eric. So you can do your interpretation, but I'm sure our viewers can do theirs. Everybody has a right to their own views, just like mine. I'm just giving my opinion. So we are going to an election already which is highly contested, and words are being thrown around. What should the commission do? The commission should now come in to see how do you reconcile these words of half-term, one-term, Ruto must go, I cannot go, I'm going nowhere, my going is not negotiable, wait for me in the ballot. These are not words of peace because we are still having 2.5 years to the election. We should be talking about development time, governance time. But in terms of discussing about governance times, we are throwing hatred. You've heard about the narrative by saying it is Kikuyus failing this battle. You've heard that. People are trying to separate each other in tribes, you get me? You hear the words, for example, this is not the work for, this is a Nilot government. I'm sure you've heard people saying that is a Nilot government just because William Ruto and Raila Odinga had a handshake and isolating other people. And then you hear words like broad-based government. You hear words like Ruto's government. You hear words like, so if you look at the Constitution of Kenya, it recognizes the government of the Republic of Kenya. There is no government of anybody, and there is no government of a certain tribe. So this, I'm trying to say, this is where the commission should come and say, excuse me, according to our constitution, let us not brand government, let's not brand people. Let us not profile people.
All right. Because
the founding father of the nation, which founded certain things, Eric, I was not even born by then, but he said something like, you had GOK, Government of Kenya. The media house used to be called Voice of Kenya, VOK.
Yeah.
Why don't we go back there and see the government of Kenya to belong to the Kenyan people? And they said, you are the government. So if some people are inside the government, and some people should be outside then, isn't it? We say we are inside government, or someone says, I am not inside. So who is inside? If the government belongs to, so these are the words which are uniting. Integration is uniting people from demographics. Now we are being told intergenerational conclave means that there's a war between generations. Some people are being called lost generation.
All right.
So what I'm trying to say is that there are some words, Fred, and words are not just words.
Yeah.
Words have a meaning. Even the name Eric makes you feel something. Me, I'm called Fred. And I look at the history of people called Fred and see how they behave. And maybe I try to do that even unconsciously. And he's called Peter. Maybe he will be the rock where the church will be built. I mean, he has that feeling. So you can't just say that when you say Ruto's government, then other people belong to that government.
Okay.
We paying taxes to this government. We demand services.
Okay.
And I'm saying the commission is not doing anything that is worth being proud of because we are descending into anarchy while they're just watching and issue statements only if they don't like the person who has done whatever they like, or they wait to be given a statement. In fact, I can almost bet they must be getting statements written for them to read.
Wow. That's your opinion.
Yes.
Sosion, as politicians beat the drums of war, the NCIC appears muzzled. The Standard there has quoted a few members of parliament. There we have William Kenneth, who's the TRT MP. He said that if you think the rungu-wielding goons who stormed Nairobi are trouble, come back next week and you'll know who the Pokot youth are. On the other side of the divide, we have Edwin Sifuna, who's the ODM SG, complaining there. Also the Nairobi senator saying that we have institutions like the NCIC whose job is to summon leaders like Sifuna. I haven't seen them summoning UDA members and allies.
I think those are very critical questions that really requires answers. And with respect to Chapter 15, Constitutional Commissions, and when the Constitution was negotiated, these independent bodies were supposed to strengthen governance and exercise certain functions. And of course, with the ceding of certain authority by the office of the executive. And I dare say, I think we need to audit the operations of all the constitutional commissions. We need a fair audit, without political emotions, without interest, for the good of the country. Because since 2010, we've had 3 elections. We are going to have an elections in 2027, and we live in 2032. So let us not be emotional and react with impulse simply because of elections of 2027. Now we begin questioning this institution. Let us question objectively by doing a proper audit of all the Chapter 15 constitutional commissions, and we ask ourselves a number of questions. Have we achieved what we intended with the Chapter 15 commissions? Have they been constituted freely and effectively? Have they been manned by competent chairs and competent commissioners who can work independently?
Yeah.
Or we still have chaotic management like we saw with the IBC in 2022 with that split of Cherera and the rest. That was very, very shameful. And to me, I still believe the Constitution was right to create all these institutions. Where we may have made mistakes is the appointment of incompetent persons to these particular officers.
All right.
And with respect to NCIC, the undertones of the flares of 2007-08, which almost consumed and burned this country, was ethnic animosity and ethnic hatred. That Kenyans at that time were even able to identify themselves as Bantus, Nilotes, that kind of painful taxonomy and classification of citizens.
Yeah.
While the national goal of independence is that of unity, love, and peace. And we lost it because we allowed divisive agenda to take place. And therefore, NCIC is supposed to call out individuals who promote ethnic division, who promote disunity in the country.
Right.
In fact, we should see NCIC dealing with these individuals and even prosecuting without exception.
Okay.
Whether they are in UDA, whether they are in Jubilee, whether they are in DCP, whether they are in the what we call transitional government of Fred Ogola here, they should also be called out like Fred Ogola. I'm sure he's a highly qualified candidate of NCIC if we scrutinize critically. Because as a country, we cannot live in the primitive shadows of ethnic mongering and ethnic division. That one we can't. Under Vision 2030, we are supposed to drive 3 serious pillars. The political pillar that deals with issue-based politics, not ethnicity, not who you are, not Ngunjiri of Nyeri, not Sosiano of Bomet, not Ogola of Kisumu and Bai of Nakuru and whatnot. We are Kenyans, and we come as beautiful Kenyans with our own ethnic diversity, which is an edifice, even with the local languages, which is an edifice of the beauty of our country. But that is not supposed to bring any form of ideological or division. Even with the outcome of elections, it would just invite hatred. You'll hate your neighbor because of voting in a certain way, or you hate a certain community because of voting in a certain way. So to me, I believe the NCIC should be empowered in terms of resources, should be empowered in terms of technical capacity, should be empowered in terms of the leaders who are running it. And we should see them active round the clock and doing their work. And that's why this Chapter 15 constitutional commissions are supposed to be alive throughout, well-resourced, and they should do their job. So we should not just point fingers only at NCIC. Let us point fingers at all the constitutional commissions. As a country, have we supported the effective implementation of operations of independent commissions? And have we had the right persons driving those institutions in terms of competent chairs and competent commissioners? Those are the hard questions we must ask ourselves as a country.
Thank you. Ngunjiri Wambugu, Association seems to think that...
To clarify that NCIC is not a constitutional commission. It's an act of parliament. So that just to make it very clear.
It's not part of Chapter 15.
It's not a constitutional commission.
But nevertheless,
it's an act of parliament in the year 2008.
The creatures of any commission within parliament, even outside what is listed in the Constitutional Commission, provided it is a commission, then its operation and function is fashioned under Chapter 15 Commission.
All right, fair
because
enough.
once it's created and it's called a commission,
that's a by the way.
That's a by the way.
That's a by the way. Let's focus on.
Then,
let's
then
move on.
It joins the family of Chapter 15 commission.
All right, let's move on. Gunjiri Wabugu.
Remember, Sosion likes by the
family of Chapter 15 commission.
You have to know Sosion likes by the way a lot. They like taking time on the by the way.
Thank you. Gunjiri, over
Thank you.
I think incompetence is the issue here, but NCIC, which seems to be toothless, is blaming funding shortfall for its weak bite on hit. What do you think about that?
Thank you, Eric. First, yes, I'm glad my colleagues have made that correction. I actually wanted to start by saying that NCIC is not a creature of 2010 of the Constitution. It's actually a creature of post-election violence.
Yes, the Agenda 4.
Agenda 4, yes, of the National Dialogue Reconciliation Commission.
Process, yes.
A process, yes. And so it's important for us to when we try to understand what NCIC is supposed to do, we need to come from where it began. And that's why it's very difficult to compare NCIC with any of the other commissions that exist. And yes, we can discuss about the personalities that have been part of it. I had the opportunity to work with it in 2008, 2009. The very first commission, actually I was trying to remember who was the chairman then. But I know it had commissioners like Alice, the lady who did a book on interethnic conflict and something. And in summary, the intention of the NCIC was to create a commission that focuses people on nationhood building. We are very good at nation building. Nation building is where we're doing politics, we're doing economics, we're doing social issues. NCIC came into place to try and get Kenyans to think about nationhood.
Yes.
And the best example has always been, and I'm very sorry to say this, has been America and how they have an American way of doing things that you see. When an American comes to Kenya, there's a way he behaves and you're able to say, okay, that is an American. There's a way that they carry themselves. And I'm sure you can use the same example for the Japanese, you can use it for some members of the Asian communities, Asian countries.
Yes.
So the whole intention of NCIC was to create a Kenyan identity. And the intention was to have an identity that supersedes all the other identities that we have. Not replaces them, but actually goes above them. So that you can comfortably call yourself a Kikuyu, a Luo, a Kalenjin, a Meru. But there's this identity that we all collapse into at some point. Now, if you are going to judge the effectiveness of NCIC, then you'd have to start from there. Have they actually achieved? Because if you just read through the content, even on their website, they say their work is to promote national values, to mitigate ethno-political competition, and eliminate ethnic and any other discrimination. The summary is they're trying to create an identity that is over and above religious, ethnic, racial, demographic. They're supposed to be able to say, no, you guys can't only have old people working in that organization or only young people. We get carried away with the ethnic part because it's the loudest. But NCIC's work is actually supposed to be to challenge us, to ensure that there's no discrimination of any kind, number one. And number two, that whatever you present, whatever any institution of government presents, actually has a Kenyan identity. Have they achieved that? They haven't. I think part of it is because of a fundamental problem within all of us. Okay. As Kenyans, we are, I think the question we should be asking ourselves is whether we are ready to be that ourselves. You know, you can form an institution to make you something, but you're not ready to become that thing yourself. And I say this for this reason. All the examples that have been given, from Kamket to who, to Gachagua, to everybody else, and the comments that we have made about ourselves, and even just how we are mobilizing ourselves as we head to 2027, tells you we are not yet at the point where we are willing and comfortable having a conversation about us as Kenyans. We are still organizing ourselves in tribal conclaves. We are still organizing ourselves in age conclaves. We've got a Gen Z conversation.
Baby boomers.
Yes, we have baby boomers. We have the tribal combinations. And that's why NCIC has such a difficult job. Because your consumer, the clientele or the client of your work doesn't actually want to do what you want them to do.
Okay.
And as much as you want to blame Kobia and his team, current team, and anybody else who's going to come, NCIC will never succeed for as long as we as a Kenyan people fundamentally do not agree with them.
And do you agree that it's funding that is the issue?
I don't think that's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with funding. It has nothing to do with the personalities running the institution. It has everything to do with the fact that as Kenyans who are the clients of NCIC, we're not ready to have that conversation yet. So when we, for example, I was just reading one of the summons that was made to by his party leader. And then he said he will not go because 3 or 4 or 5 other people had made similar comments and they were not summoned. And he didn't go. And nothing happened. So it tells you, you see, even the body itself, the commission itself, is not confident in itself. Because you can't, if in any other case, if you're summoned by any other commission or even by security agencies, you can't defend yourself by saying, okay, you're saying me, I stole that thing, so I cannot come because 5 other people who stole things have not been called. That cannot be a defense. Right. But for some reason, we're able to use those kind of defenses within NCIC and get away with it. Oh. And that tells you that it has nothing to do with funding. It has nothing to do with the leadership of the commission. It has everything to do with, because how much legitimacy as a country we have given, because their authority and their power comes from the legitimacy we give them. We don't think, I mean, to a lot of us Kenyans, NCIC is a by the way commission.
Okay.
Something just holds press conferences, makes noise, and right now the only thing we expect from them is to shout.
All right.
So and so is doing tribal things, and then disappear. So just we know that one is doing tribal things, that one is doing ethnic things, but we don't expect them to do anything else.
Okay.
No, I think Eric,
very briefly, because I want us to move on.
Just for clarity.
Okay.
It's a matter of summary. One, I think the reason why NCIC is just neither here nor there, to the rest, all those words, they fear that if they invite the Honorable Nelson Koech, Kamket, and all these, the next day, they are going to go to Parliament, because it's an act of Parliament, and simply just disband it or make sure that all the commissioners are home. That is one thing. Number 2, the mandate is very funny. Promoting, advising government, facilitating and promoting equality. Now what is that? You look at the, promoting national reconciliation. It's like a charity organization. So one, it is based on something that cannot have it do anything, number 1.
Okay.
The mandate is just there. But number 2, they are fearing. Because if they do that, these people are going to get members of parliament and it's going to be disbanded. So they don't know what's happening. But just for clarity purposes, Eric, what our party leader said, he was responding to what others had said. So it's a matter of clear what these people had said they were not summoned. So just call them, they record statements, then we come and record. So that we can so we can come and say we were saying ABCD because of what they had said. It was just a matter of helping them. They are saying they are building reconciliation and trying to promote. We are also promoting by telling them, inviting the others who had said ABCD that they are going to add votes, they are going to do what, they know how to manufacture 24 years, they know how to add votes, they cannot go for one term. Then we come and we wrote a letter. So the question is, NCIC should be disbanded in the morning. Even that 500 million they are getting. It's just a waste. Because there's nothing they're ever going to do on this earth.
Okay.
Maybe in another planet.
Well, thank you. I want us to move on to politics. The Star and the Daily Nation have gone heavy on politics. The front page of the Star, ODM starts 2027 plan as Raila weighs his options. The inner circle of ODM apparently is split. Some want the ODM leader, that is Raila Odinga, to support Ruto. Others do not want that. We have the Daily Nation on the front page. It has by-elections test for Ruto, Raila and Gachagua. And I can see Sosioni, you're itching to give a comment on that. But very fairly, just a minute. 6 National Assembly seats, 1 senatorial post, and 15 members of county assembly vacancies are up for grabs. Sosioni, just very fairly, I want to start with someone who represents the newest kid on the block, and that is DCP. Out of 22 elective positions, how many are you going for? Dr.
Thank you very much. We are set. We are waiting for the constitution of IBC. And we said we are not going to fight with the ABC because we have more serious battles ahead. One of them is the by-elections. We are going to get into our partners, where we find that there are, in the coalition, some parties are stronger there. We are going to allow them to run. Then we are going to support. So we are having a meeting the soonest time possible to agree on who runs where, which party among our coalition parties.
So you haven't agreed yet?
No, that is in the process, but I can tell you, we are going to sweep almost all those seats.
Two of them?
Oh, yeah, we are going to sit all of them. We are doing warm-up for what is going to happen in 2027.
Wow.
We are going to be heavily involved in all the by-elections.
Well,
and we are going to sweep almost all the seats.
Okay, Sosion. 6 National Assembly seats, 1 senatorial post, and 15 member of county assembly vacancies up for grabs. You have something to say about that? What is it?
Well, as I say that, I think the other item you just closed, I'm not reopening, but I'm saying let us not just wish away the NCIC.
All right.
Let's identify the real gaps and make it work. If it is legitimacy, let us strengthen it. If it is power to arrest and to prosecute, let us give it teeth so that it can function. Because it was not out of mere simple wish to have it within the law, even though it is not in the Constitution, but you note it was created after the post-election clashes, but it should join the family of Chapter 15 constitutional commissions and be made effective. If persons are summoned, then they must appear. And then they cannot also summon, apply what you call discrimination in summoning. Everybody should be summoned, regardless of who is who. There should be no sacred cows in this ecosystem. And with respect to the coming by-elections, it is the electorate who will exercise their power to elect the representatives for those 22 seats. And I think there are 6 parliamentary seats, the rest are civic seats right across the country. So the Kenya Kwanza administration and affiliated parties and the broad-based government and affiliated parties will field candidates. And as to the extent of negotiating the constituency of each party, that will rely on the higher organs of the parties, and that is a matter that is above my pay grade. But one thing I know, there will be a common approach to these elections, and Kenyans will exercise their democratic rights. Those who will want to contest through other political parties are free to do so. But you see, the power to determine who gets elected rests with the voters in that particular ward, in that constituency. And therefore, the IBC will grant them the opportunity to do so. And so, like any other party, we are more than ready, even if it is tomorrow.
All right.
We are more than ready. As UDA, I'm a member of United Democratic Alliance Party. We are ready.
All right.
So I can speak from the perspective of the party, and if I also speak from the perspective of the cooperation within the parties that we have, then definitely there will be that kind of understanding. But you see, at the end of the day, even party leaders cannot control citizens from what they are doing.
All right.
If individuals choose to contest, you cannot stop them. You can only grant them ticket.
Okay.
Then the rest is left to the sovereign power of the voters to exercise their democratic right and elect the leaders they want. They may not even elect a person from your party. They can elect from independent or from any other party, but the elections will have been done. And someone will have been in office.
Okay.
But the beauty is, we are seeing one of the first mandate of IBC, which has been outstanding for a long time, being executed.
Okay.
Some constituencies have stayed without members of parliament for a good whole 3 years, which really they never deserve that. So the earlier IBC schedules these elections, the better. The rest, the parties will fight it out. And the people and the verdict shall be at the ballot by the people themselves, exercising their sovereign power of vote.
All right. Professor Ogola, as a governance expert, this is a do-or-die moment for both UDA and DCP. I'm saying UDA because Machakos Deputy Governor Francis Mwangangi seems to think that it will be an opportunity for the top leaders to measure their popularity. He says if you are a president and the candidate you back loses in a by-election, it points to waning political influence. DCP, on the other hand, risks being termed as a non-starter if it doesn't perform well in this. I want to hear your take on that.
Yeah, Eric, as the people's economist, let me say that we really don't care about this election as such, because the Kenyan problem is economic, and it cannot be deferred simply by elections. I'm sure Kenyans are going to be brought to this discussion. Politicians are so uncomfortable to discuss economic issues, but easily discuss about politics. Who will take this? Unaona, like in the front page of the is it Taifa Leo, kupimama nguvu. Nguvu ya nini? Hiyo nguvu itasaidia mwananchi kutatua mambo yake. No, I'm more concerned about after this by-election, are we going to have improved economy? Are we going to have better healthcare for Kenyans? If it's just like IBC will spend taxpayers' money to elect these people, what impact will it get? I'm not concerned about who gets elected, whether DCP gets all the seats or not, and they go to parliament and start singing choir to the government. In fact, I don't even care if, for example, UDA wins all of them. I don't even care if Broadbase will have a candidate called Broadbase candidate. I really don't care. But we're asking ourselves that the Kenyan problem is economic problem, and that's why I've been talking about the issue of transition government, because that for me is a more priority than not. Why I'm trying to say so, Eric, I go back there by saying that the country is in serious tension. And anybody trying to ignore this thing is just trying to put their heads in the sand. We want something uniting. Like now, is this election going to unite Kenya, these by-elections, or they are going to divide us further? Those questions are very critical to me. For example, the Malava seat, will it be UDA going for it, or they are going to front a broad-based government? Is ODM interested? If you go to the reason, and I like what my brother Association says, that these people have not been having representation for 3 years. And he says unfortunate. Who caused it? The president. Even though the president took office, his main goal was IBC is not there. So these are disservices being brought at a time of convenience. And I want to tell Kenyans, please don't be people of current affairs. Our Kenyan problem remains the Kenyan problem. And people are thinking that by going to this by-election, you're solving a problem. You are just being tweaked, or at least diverted from what is the key issue at the moment. The key issue now, the governance has failed. How many members of parliament are being added? 6. The biggest problem Kenya has is a dysfunctional parliament. If parliament was working, they could have impeached the president. People could not be dying on the street. And Eric, I'm sorry to say this. I've done average, 61 Kenyans are dying per month. I am hearing Raila Odinga saying that if by June 2026, the 10-point agenda would have not been implemented, they would actually field a candidate against William Ruto for 2027. Meaning, it is all political solution for an economic and human rights issue. And Fred, Eric, you cannot be able to give a Panadol to someone who has cancer. These are Panadols, these are painkillers we are being getting. Like now, we have to start thinking about who will become the MP of this. No, the issue is their election. Are they MPs who can even, you go to parliament, if you go to all technical committees, if the chair of security says shoot to kill, why are you even concerned about electing parliament? To the Gen Zs, for them, this parliament died on 25th of June 2024. They are not even thinking those people exist. They have been called MPs. According to me, the parliamentarians are not making decisions on environment. I can go to security. I can go from every docket, finance, to budget. I don't see what parliament has done to Kenya, and I don't see even why we should invest our money here. We should be thinking about how we can go further. And let me end by saying the following, Eric. with the numbers I'm talking about, 60 per month. If you take this to 1 year, you know exactly you multiply that by 12. Is overwhelming. The number of people being abducted, again, you multiply this by 12. You go to the number of people who are disappearing. Some of them, the parents don't know where they are. I was so heartbroken when I saw a 12-year-old girl being buried in Kiambu. And when she was being buried, I'm seeing young children of 11 years becoming mourners, and their work is converted to console the parents of that child. There's nothing that can break your heart like that. Okay. I never mourned on behalf of my classmate at the age of 12. If any of you mourned that, and for me that is more urgent than a by-election.
All right.
What is a by-election important? When people are dying, we cannot stop the human rights, and I'm sorry to say, my brother, Mheshimiwa Wambugu, when you tell me that they have no legitimacy. Legitimacy is two, legal. They are given by act of parliament, isn't it? The second type of legitimacy is social. Mm-hmm. You earn by delivering anything. If you don't deliver anything, even as a father, you are useless. In fact, you can't say you are a father, you're head of the family. There's no food at home. Kids can't go to school. They should now earn the legitimacy by delivering, not by being given. Who is this to give you? And lastly, again to my brother, Mheshimiwa Wambugu, let me say that if you say all Kenyans are not ready, that's a lie. We lack leadership in this country.
All right.
When the leader has defied all court orders, the president has broken 18 chapters, all of them. He has broken all of them. They cannot follow court orders. Now you are telling Gachagua to go and appear before a commission which has been captured by the state to the interest of the state. So you are going before the state to be crucified. They have impeached you with a captured parliament. Now they want to take you through disciplinary process by people who are captured. I don't think that's fair to him. I don't like Gachagua, by the way, but at least I like his rights. His rights, no matter how evil he could look like, are protected by the Constitution, and every Kenyan should be protected. So I am very disappointed when I hear, I'm a young man, isn't it, in this table here, but when I hear people who are seasoned, do not see clarity into a reason like legitimacy. I'm an expert in legitimacy, whether it's social or legal. Let us be honest. I have earned my legitimacy as a husband at home, isn't it?
All right.
It is not the certificate of marriage that gave it to me. It is my behavior. So I want to urge people, don't listen by being told that Kenyans are not ready to be united. All Kenyans say we are tribeless. What divides us is politics. Economy divides all Kenya. That's why I reject finance bill. 86% said reject. No,
Professor, let's not digress here. I don't know which topic is addressed. Hold on, Ngunjiri, I want us to go back to the issue of...
I cannot be anchored by topic by topic. I have to talk about the state of the nation. It's about the state of the nation.
Thank you, fair enough. Ngunjiri Wambugu, bids are sharpening their claws for 2027, what the nation is calling dress rehearsal, and it seems to be referencing UDA and DCP. Where's Jubilee in this? Is it sharpening its claws as well? And as you answer that, is Jubilee going to be backing a presidential candidate, its own presidential candidate in 2027?
Okay, let me first start with the conversation on the headline. The 22 by-elections. I think Kenyans are going to, first, even as we talk about people competing against each other, I think the most important people here are Kenyans who are going to be watching how IEBC is actually going to deal with these by-elections, because this is what is going to determine whether we can believe in them or not as we head to the next election. This is the first series of by-elections this new team is going to have, and Kenyans are going to be watching to see how they'll actually handle them. Will they bow to pressure, whether from government or from opposition, in terms of how they are going to manage these by-elections? So the most important thing, beyond the personality clashes that will be there in terms of whether it is Gachagua or Ruto or Raila and anybody else, is those of us who are not direct stakeholders in this particular election will be watching to see IEBC and how they will behave in terms of how, because once we see how they'll behave with these 22 by-elections, we'll now know whether we have an IEBC or it is a creature that was created to achieve a certain end. Second thing, these by-elections are also going to help us test these unity bids that we are seeing, whether in government or in opposition. Remember, within government, we have a unity bid of broad-based, right? And then in opposition, we have all this very, very fluid, evolving unity bid of people who are in government, some who are still in government, by the way, because they are members of parliament of a party that is in government, who are now gone to opposition. And then we have people who are old opposition people. And it's going to be interesting to see, as I listen to Bai explain that they're going to choose some of the by-elections and decide whether they're going to see which party can run a candidate and whether the others are going to support it. It will be interesting to see that during these by-elections. It's also going to give us a glimpse into 2027 and whether these teams can actually get to 2027 as they are. The third thing I see, for those of us like Jubilee now, it's also going to be an opportunity for us to see whether we have learned anything from the last election and during the last 3 years. Because, see, as like for us, for example, as Jubilee, we're going to have to sit down and ask ourselves, do we want to do all 22 by-elections? Are we going to be strategic and do some? Are we going to support opposition or are we going to support government? So you see, the advantage for us, we are at a position where we can actually do either. As we start now lining up these by-elections, we can decide this one, the best candidate. Because also remember, you also want to get the best candidate for the job. You don't just want to win. Because again, and this is something we must agree we learned from 2022.
Okay.
I keep remembering the leader of the new party saying that the people who were elected in 2022 are stupid and foolish. Right? A particular group of leaders from a particular community that he campaigned for are stupid and foolish. So we must be very, very careful as we get into these by-elections and we go into the next election to start looking at the quality of the person rather than just the party that is coming to front them. And it's going to be also interesting to see whether the people have actually learned, the voters themselves. Yeah. Are the voters going to be carried in a wave and choose a certain person because he's been fronted by a certain party that is popular? Or are they actually going to choose quality of people? Maybe pick a couple of independents, pick people who are not even in popular parties, but who they believe in. So it's going to be an interesting thing. And finally, we're also going to see whether we actually have leaders who can challenge government. People with, we have had a lot of people who are able to make noise and do slogans and mobilize crowds. This is now where the rubber meets the road, where you can you actually convert the noise and the slogans into a win? Or are you just good for public outcry? Can you actually strategically develop a plan that can make your candidate win an election? So this is also going to be an interesting time. And I think a lot of candidates who are not even part of these 22 by-elections will be watching to see how each respective party leader is going to strategize so that nikifanya kazi na huyo anaweza nisaidia naweza shinda. So that's it. The question you asked was
about your presidential. Do you have a presidential candidate that you're going to back in 2027?
This is 2025.
Yes.
And I'm going to borrow something. I'm going to borrow a comment that was given outside here. Allow me to borrow this. And he was talking about the people who know that they have a presidential candidate right now are the pro-government.
Okay.
They have Ruto.
Not sure.
They have Ruto. I mean,
they may decide
boss, you're not pro-government.
No,
I don't even know why you answered that question. You're not.
I'll give you an opportunity.
I will give you an opportunity. Allow me to speak unless you are pro-government now. The people who know they have a candidate because they're saying they're looking for another term is Ruto's team.
Okay.
Everybody else is discussing about a candidate they will get. They don't have a candidate yet. So we're in a situation where even us as Jubilee, 2 years to an election. Right now, we are more interested in building up our capacity as a party, finding out who we can do coalitions with, to be able to actually get into government or form government in a way that can implement our principles being taken to the people on the ground. So that is the most important thing to us.
Right.
Let me finish by saying something about this one-term business. I don't know why we get carried away with that idea. Every person who is elected for one term. Whether you're an MCA, MP, governor, anybody who is elected, you are elected for one term. What happens at the end of that term determines whether you're going to be elected for another term.
Okay.
I keep hearing us get carried away and get excited by the fact that you're telling somebody who is a member of parliament. By the way, by the time we get to 2027, a lot of people who are shouting one term will be removed by the competition shouting at them one term, not just at Ruto. Because you have a 5-year term, whether you're an MCA or a president. Once at the end of that term, you go back to people and ask whether they're going to give you another term. I think even the people who are in government need to be careful about talking about another term before they finish this one. And those people who are in opposition need to be careful about getting carried away about talking about one term, because everybody has one term. What happens at the end of that term is what determines whether you're going to come back or not. 24 months, 25 months to an election is such a long time that you can, you have Ruto here who is a president, and he's doing things you don't agree with. So what if he changes those things and starts doing things you agree with within the next 24 months? Are you going to elect him or are you going to send him home?
All right.
You have people in opposition who at this moment in time are aligned to what you think you want. What if they change and stop doing those things you agree with within the next 24 months? Are you going to elect them or not? So I think the most important thing for us, all Kenyans who are not political players and involved in trying to raise their ratings, is to just make sure that the people who are in office for this term are delivering what we need for this term. Is your MCA doing what he's supposed to be doing? Is your governor doing what he's supposed to be doing? Is your president doing what he's supposed to be doing? You're a member of parliament, you're a women rep. This obsession we have with the next term is actually making us completely lose focus of what is supposed to be happening today, tomorrow, and the next day.
Okay. Dr. Mbai, Ngujiru Ambogu says something very important here, that we might see political realignments here and there. We're in such a fluid situation. I want to get this from you. With the current new political reawakening in the country, are we going to see very soon parties with strong ideologies, and we move away from what the late J.J. Kamau said once about political parties, something that I cannot say during Watershed Hours on TV? Are we going to move away from that very, very soon? Have political parties that have strong ideologies?
That's the direction we are going. I want to assure you that the formation we are coming up with, which is making tremendous progress, it is a national movement based on simple ideals of what people want. Not long stories of very long manifestos and stories. You can talk for 5 minutes talking about one thing and deliver 10% or zero. We just want complete, and that's why we are reasoning very carefully to specific things. Some issues about social democracy, right? Issues about basic needs of the people. Basic health, education, issues about finances. Simple things that can start the economy. That's where our mind is right now. We want to be known on some philosophical issues that touch on the common person in terms of basic things. Look at the basic cost of commodities, all the way from construction. Animal feeds, chicken. Everybody has some chicken. Some cows. Those are the kind of things we want to talk about. Simple things like Leader Mama. Simple things like medical care. Simple things like like education. Simple things. Don't come and talk us about things in the air. We are going to have 1 million chapatis. We are going to be driving vehicles without engines. Come on, just come, and we want to be social democrats, moving on things that serve the people. Now, having said that, I want to very quickly say, I'm very happy for this show today, because the Honorable Abogo has confirmed that Jubilee can back anybody, during the by-election. They can decide to back opposition or government. And this is a very good confession on this day, because it has shown we don't know who is Jubilee. If he's a spokesman,
you have to accept that. No, I'm not the spokesman. This is my personal opinion.
Please, I am the one.
Just an ordinary member.
I'm the one.
As an ordinary member of Jubilee, so that he doesn't try and make that a Jubilee position.
No, we are talking. And you see, what is in the heart is what comes out. So they don't know. As we know, we're in the opposition. Okay? By the grace of God. This is where we have found ourselves. And we are very sure we are in opposition. So, Jubilee doesn't know whether it will back, maybe Banisa, it will decide to back government. Maybe someone else back. But it's good for people to say what they are in, because we don't know what they do after here and who they go to see. Maybe they are given facilitation to do some things in the evenings and wherever. So let me say this. Number two, when he said that we are very sure BBG has a presidential candidate, we are not sure. The broad-based. We are not sure today. Because ODM is saying it is their time that Ruto has to back them. After all, he's the one who innovated them. And they are saying many times, ODM has to be on the ballot. So who knows? Maybe because within another year, 6 months, the population of UDA Because with Mount Kenya going 47%, where was I going to get the votes? Maybe they may decide to have Raila as a presidential candidate or broad-based. So it's not sure. Don't say it's sure. It's not yet. Now, he's mentioned about, suppose the president changes, one term is not sure. And I like the flip-flopping of the Honorable Gachagua. It shows a man who is not sure. Politically, you cannot survive in politics. Go look for another career if you are not decisive. One thing you must do, I'm a student of politics and government. You must be very clear what you want for you to shine. Otherwise, you flip-flop, nobody believes you. You must have a stand. You must have an idea what to do. I've served in both levels. Government and politics. And I know you must have a stand. I can tell you today, we are set for one term, whatever happens. It's not negotiable, by the way. And that's why we don't want dialogue. Let somebody go and dialogue with their homes, with their people and their relatives and cousins, okay? There. But we are not set for dialogue. We are all set. Actually, dialogue is meant to divert us from the course. We respect, personally as a student of politics, I respect Raila Odinga.
You speak on authority as a representative of DStv?
100%, yes. When I'm seated here, I'm here Secretary for Planning and I'm a member of the United Opposition. We are talking one language.
So DCP is not for dialogue?
DCP and the United Opposition. We are not going for any dialogue at all.
Okay.
We want the dialogue, first of all. They can collect members from UDA and ODM. You know those delegates, They are picking from every constituency to go and review the 10-point agenda first. Let them go and review how many kids have died since they signed. How many people have never been compensated? Let them go and review that first before they call us for dialogue. And by the way, let nobody else ask us that question about dialogue because we are not boarding. That is a distraction by the BBG to come and confuse us and put us into another category. As we are said, Eric, please get from me. We are not going northwards or left or wherever. We are set for one term, finished. Because of why? Very simple. We must deal conclusively for once with the politics of deceit, of conmanship, and betrayal. That's how we are going to deal with it. You don't come to people, deceive them, take their votes, come turn against them. We must kill it. The only way to kill it is one term. Please don't ask about many issues about our agenda. Our agenda is one term. Then we sort all the things that have gone down the drain, we return them up. Please let it be very clear. We don't mind whatever is going to happen. Right now, people are crying, Eric, okay? We have 40 dead young people. Listen to me. When I say about betrayal, you can't come, say you're not going to use security machinery, then literally not only use them, shoot to kill, and then maim people. We are going to bury 40. Tomorrow I'm going to bury. The other day we buried Peter Jenga. We are going to bury Kalis in Subukia tomorrow. We buried a Form 4 student in Turi. The pain. Then you talk about changing anything, it is done. You cannot kill our people then continue talking about this. And then finally, Eric, listen to this. You cannot therefore finally do what you are doing, then use God as a shield. Oh, right. Church. Oh, you know me. Those people who are opposing church are Satanists. Yesterday we were told we are Antichrist. Now, you are trying to divide the church. That you people, you hate the church, others want the church. That's why you saw new faces, new names yesterday. Right. It's a new category of people being called now to come and show that the church is with the president. Let me tell you, you cannot mock God. And by the way, Eric, the moment you begin claiming God is on your side, he decides to show he's not on your side, everybody will know that God is not with you.
All right.
I'm a Christian. Let's stop this issue of God around here to show if you're doing other things, do other things. Right. Don't mix other things with God. God is not mocked. Let's not go that direction.
Okay, Dr. Peace.
All of us are Christians and all of us believe God.
Eric, allow me to say
1 minute or less.
Yes,
because
allow me to say something.
First, an opportunity.
First and foremost, I am not a politician at work. Me, I sell chai and mandazi in Nyeri. Me, I am not a politician in terms of, I don't do politics for a living. So, unlike people who need to do politics to earn a living, I am not one of those, right? And that allows me to actually have a non-partisan view, or even have a partisan view on issues. And this is why I would say this. As far as I am concerned, we are not removing this government for another 2 years. Even his own party leader confirmed that very desperately. I don't know why he seemed scared. He had to keep insisting we're not trying to remove this government outside the ballot until 2027. So we are all in agreement that this government is in office until 2027. As an ordinary Kenyan who runs a small kiosk business. I'm very interested.
That doesn't need agreement.
But you see, I need us to move systematically.
Okay.
As an ordinary Kenyan who does a small kiosk business, I'm interested in what is going to happen to me today, tomorrow, and the next day. And for the next 25 months, the person who is president of this country is William Ruto. The person who is CS or what, unless it changes, are the people who are in government right now. And for me, I wish what our opposition was telling us is how we are going to clean up what is happening now. This obsession they have with the next term, right? Even the next term, I have been around politics for a long time. There is no government that has come and not been fought immediately it got into office. So even if, for example, Gachagua became president, God forbid, the minute he becomes president, there will be people who will start fighting him, and we'll have another organization of people against him. So I don't want us to, I feel very strongly, maybe maybe this is what he does for a living. As he said, he's seated here to represent his party.
Okay,
for me, what where I would like, I haven't finished my minute.
He's finishing.
What I would like to insist is that we need to focus as a country outside the people who do politics for a living. The rest of us who have to go around ordinary business have to focus on getting solutions to our problems for today. Agricultural problems, economic problems. The governance expert keeps talking about economy. We are not going to solve the economy next term. We are going to solve it this term.
So your comment on Jubilee supporting anyone was just an opinion, a personal opinion.
First and foremost, that is a personal opinion.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? Because at this moment in time, we have somebody like Mutahi Kagwe, right?
Yep.
Who is somebody who worked with our government in Jubilee when we were in government. He is right now the Minister of Agriculture. And we had people saying that we gave our experts to this government.
Okay.
Do you want me to now just start fighting everybody for the sake of making DCP happy because they want to do one term? I am more interested in getting solutions for now.
Okay, fair enough.
2027, if we decide to remove Ruto, we will decide to remove Ruto in 2027.
Okay.
We can't remove him now.
Okay.
We have to figure out how does he deliver for us for the next 25 months. Since all of us are in agreement, he's not leaving office.
All right.
For the next 25 months.
Okay.
Who is all of
Thank
us?
you. Professor Ogola.
You have a way of removing him before 2027.
Excuse me, Eric.
Professor, how going to look for solutions?
Excuse me, Eric.
He's in government. Yeah, he is a guy in government. He's saying we are going to look for solutions. How to make life better.
We are looking, so we are going to sit here and complain.
I'm just saying.
I mean, sincerely, Eric, if we are going to be honest, you can't sit here and complain and wait for the next term. And your child can't go to hospital.
Who is supposed to look for solutions? Eric, that's the question. Who is supposed to look for solutions?
When an opposition when you're in opposition, you're not in opposition to just wait to form the next government.
Eric,
you're in opposition to challenge government, the current government that is there, to deliver now.
Fair enough.
Eric, you know, you have to notice there's something going on. Jubilee and the DCP are fighting for ground, and it is now taking over the show. So just be careful about that.
I don't think that is right.
No, I mean, sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, my brother. We are all, me and you are in opposition, but you can see. I know what's happening in the order. I don't want to spend my time because I told you.
Let's confine ourselves to the issue of parties. And
so let's not fight for ground here between Jubilee and DCP. Let me say the following, Eric. Kenyans turned to William Ruto when he took presidency to deliver on his promises and also the Kenyan aspirations. And I can tell you, Eric, every vote cast in 2022 had an aspiration. Now, Kenyans are simply saying that he's not delivering, so Kenyans are now moved away from expecting him to do something, and now he has started doing things the Kenyans don't want. Now they're telling him, stop doing that. One, stop killing people, stop abduction, stop arresting people and telling them they're terrorists. As far as I'm concerned, by definition, there is no Kenyan who can fit the bill of being a terrorist against their own country. You understand me? They could just be people who need to be tried in court of law. None of them even have any unarmed forces. The only person who commands armed forces is William Ruto. So all these things I'm trying to say that Kenyans have seen this. And when my brother is saying that we are still hoping and still wishing that he is going to do his part, I think that maybe, Mheshimiwa, you have just to analyze this. For Kenyans have decided now, opinion poll TIFA shows 86% of Kenyans have lost faith in the government. You understand? And when you're still saying we are yet to decide in 2027, you cannot be dating for 2 years and you know very well you're going to marry in the next 1 year, and you're still taking this girl out. Because when you're dating and you want to marry this year, you have to know there's only around 52 weekends. If you spend this weekend with the people who are not candidates for marriage, you might end up not getting married this year. So for us now, we are spending time looking for how the government can go home. And I want to tell you why I'm very concerned about this I call transition government. I'm very passionate about it. The following things have happened, Eric. From the first time the bullet hit Rex Masai's head, isn't it? And now continuously bullets continue hitting people where we have discovered the streets is not safe. People left the street, went to the social media to express their dissatisfaction. They started abducting them, plucking them, killing them. Ojwang was picked in his mother's home having lunch with the family. Bridget was shot watching television in her mother's house. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what have we learned? The politicians are not telling us what have we learned from this. And they are not telling us what has this blood of these people achieved for their certain expression of dissent. Mm-hmm. So if we don't address that issue and saying we're waiting for 2027, this is hypocrisy. As far as I'm concerned, William Ruto needs to go home because Kenyans have said it in all other ways. The only thing is that Kenyans do not have the power to recall the president directly. And my calling for transition government is not because I'm hungry for power. I don't even want to get to that government for now.
What are the frameworks of that transitional government?
It's very clear.
You're proposing.
Article 1 of the Constitution says that the sovereign power belongs to the people. Mm-hmm. They can express it directly or indirectly.
Okay.
Now, look here. The sovereign power of the people is the one that begets the Constitution. The Constitution begets these constitutional officers, including the presidency. So it is clear the sovereign power is above the Constitution. In fact, only second to God. So for that matter, the Constitution does not prescribe why and how to use the direct power. You get me?
So it's either 2027 or extra constitutional means?
No. It does not have to be 2027. If you have, if that suit belongs to you, mm-hmm. and you delegate it to me, isn't it? Can you tell me that we agreed you cannot take it after 1 week, you can't take it below? If it's that way, then it's not yours. So it is not prescribed the limit. Mm. In fact, why they don't prescribe, I've been constitutional student for long. Why they don't prescribe is to allow you, and Eric, let's talk about it. We are talking as if Kenya is the only country in the world. In South Africa, when Jacob Zuma was messing up with the economy, isn't it? Did he continue? No, he didn't. He left office, and when he left office, it was taken over by Ramaphosa mid-term, who went on and then went for an election, which now he nearly lost because he's the president. Let's go to UK. When Tony Blair took the British people to this Gulf War, which they thought was fake, they recalled him. Gordon Brown took over. From then, we have had changes in office. Mm-hmm. We are presenting William Ruto, and I'm happy with these people telling us that he cannot leave office until 2027. We are representing William Ruto as if William Ruto is a terminal illness that you can only manage until it kills you. Mm-hmm. He is not cancer.
All right.
He is not HIV. Mm-hmm. Only HIV can only be managed. If the presence of William Ruto is leading to the death of children, death of young people with aspirations, with dreams, with what they can achieve in this country, arresting, abducting, maiming, shoot to the leg, shoot to kill, all these things. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you what, if you tell me there's no constitutional framework, in which constitutional framework can a president talk about shoot the leg? Tell me. Ask me. Tell me in which constitutional provision does CS Interior say shoot to kill? Tell me which constitution are they quoting when the chairperson of security says shoot to kill? Tell me which constitution are we using to kill, maim, and then corrupt and steal Kenyan money and steal the Kenyan dream? So you cannot be telling us that the might is right, that those who are top there, they are right. All Kenyans are wrong.
All right.
I can tell you, we want these people, we want the central government for this function. One, stabilize the economy. Mm-hmm. Secondly, preside over a free and fair election, because as we see it now, this election cannot be free and fair. Right. I'm telling you, as you wait for 2027, it won't work. Lastly, and most importantly,
very briefly,
there are reforms we need to be done so that the people of Kenya can have direct recall to recall the president, recall any members of parliament easily without having to die on the street. Because if the citizens had power, the parliament has not put up mechanism on how we can recall the president and the government directly. That is why people are dying. And with that not being done, we might go to an election, someone will kill people to stay in office because he has said, if there's no Kenya for me, there's no Kenya for you. Which means you rather die and I say president of the Republic of Kenya, which is a landmass, no people.
So Sion, because I want us to wind up the show right now.
I've had to be patient to listen to the longest narrative of Professor Fred Ogola, and allow me to extend my personal sympathies to Mbai and Fred here. Your mode of operation is so discordant with the spirit of the country, and trying to push a narrative of one term and all the manner of discussions from Fred Ogola here.
But that conversation was important for the country, 1 term or 2 term, because now we stop talking about term limits, extending term limits, don't you?
Half term also is there.
No. I think just allow me.
1 term or 2 terms, because now we stop talking about extending term limits. Don't you agree?
Because their interventions is founded on bitterness, misinformation, and it's not about reality. The government of Kenya belongs to all the people of Kenya. There are no outsiders in government. And rightly, as Honorable Mbugi is putting it, governance and leadership is for 5 years. And there is an agenda to be delivered in 5 years.
Constitutionally, yes.
Constitutionally. And we have 24 months to 2027. So even Kenya Kwanza administration and those who are serious in governance, we can't talk about 2027. Let's talk about what must be delivered. It's a full 5-year term. We still have a cool, good 24 months where Kenyans are paying taxes every month. So therefore, we must talk about the agenda of the government. And of course, the agenda of the broad-based government, which is founded on the 10-point agenda. And the agenda of Kenya Kwanza administration is reforms in agriculture, MSME, ICT integration, housing, UHC, among many others. So those are the things we should be talking about. And we cannot talk at this point and say, hey, yes, it's 1 term. How do you know the changes and the deliverables that are going to be delivered within the next 24 months within these pillars? And Kenyans will be the ones to assess. So none of us here can speak on behalf of the millions and millions of Kenyans. Kenyans will react in 2027 to the deliverables around all these flagships. So I would say 2027 is not a very, very serious agenda now. Right now, what is important is the issues on the table. And remember, President Ruto is almost the first president to be elected on a clear agenda and manifesto. And therefore, even his re-election will be based squarely on that manifesto. So this little drama of deliberate disruption of what government is doing, and we have seen it with the slogan of 1 term, with the violent demonstrations. And you tell me, when you call for demonstration where many women are raped, Kenyan women are raped, businesses of Kenyans who have worked very hard for many years are destroyed by hooligans and lives lost.
All demonstrations.
Lives lost. Those are not demonstrations. Those are violent regime change. And we've seen it. And I'm happy the government security agencies and the CS Interior has communicated very clearly. And I think all those criminals who are involved, we say the arm of the law is long. Criminals. It doesn't matter how long.
The word criminal.
The arm of the law.
I'll give you all.
Yes, the criminals, those who raped are criminals. Those who looted are criminals. Can you imagine even those who invaded hospitals where an operation was being conducted in Kitengela? Those are criminals. Why are they trying to placate and cover that bit of it? And this is where the police and the security agencies should continue investigating and crack on those who are engaged in criminal actions, and they're actually classified as criminals as per the law, and they should face the law. I think we are a country of the rule of law, constitution, and law and order.
Yes.
And those are the things we should be dealing with.
Okay.
Now, the dreams of transitional government, the matters of transitional government, those are just mere dreams. This is one of, Kenya is a superpower democracy.
Okay.
Where democracy and the rule of the constitution shall always operate.
All right.
Somebody to academize and say, we do a transitional government, that is just but mere academics restricted to the lecture halls.
All right.
But,
I want to give
within
all of you,
the space of the realm of operations of Kenyans,
yes,
Kenya shall be guided by the constitution and the rule of law, and the institutions should continue working. Parliament, the executive, the judiciary, and all other governance institutions.
Well, I want to give
we are doing well as a country. It is only those who want regime change who are sick, and nobody can stop them. I give them my sympathy.
All right, thank you.
Continue being sick, continue being bitter. That is your political right.
Fair enough.
But you are not going to change.
I want to give
what is
each of
being
you
done.
a minute to wind up your final thoughts, Dr. Mbai.
Thank you so much. One, it's very, very clear why we are repeating that we have no intention or the luxury of trying to remove this government, because they are using that line, which is a lie, to try to gain sympathy, to try to divert people from the real issues. That's why we are repeating. We are waiting to battle it out on 10th of August, so that they don't continue cringing on it. Regime change by who for what, to benefit what. Nobody's interested. We are Kenya. This is not Uganda. This is not Tanzania or any other country. We want to follow the law. Number two, people who are talking government, talking the way they are talking, sleeping, acting like government, cannot advise us as opposition. The Honorable Wangujiro Bogo, he is talking like somebody who is on a paycheck by government, so he cannot advise us. So please keep your advice to government lines and government, line. So please stop advising us, as we know how to advise ourselves. Number three, and finally, nobody will tell us to look for solutions. There is the government that is supposed to do what's supposed to do. But all what we are seeing goes to schools, 129, okay? Billions of shillings, 14 years, when even Sosion was in power, right? All through. I don't know why he didn't know that. Number two, the issue of 2.2 billion, students' health scheme, scandal. Those are the issues they are saying we focus on. They are saying we focus on for the next 2.5 years.
Yep.
Fuel prices and all that. But let me say this, narratives that have been there are not going to wash. One of them is that of regime change. Number two one is that one of tribalism, trying to put Mount Kenya into a corner. Thank God Kenyans have come against that. And number three, the issue that it is DCP and the Honorable Gachagua who sponsored violence.
All right.
Kenyans know, even my own mother knows who sponsored all that violence.
Okay.
They know. They are like, wow, you mean the head of state, the CS, can continue talking about opposition sponsoring violence when even kids, grade 5, they know who is doing all these kind of things.
Okay.
So they are linking, they are like, what is the integrity? Where is the sincerity and honesty of leaders? If you plan the violence and it has backfired, just don't talk about it anymore. Just keep quiet.
Thank you.
Finally, what is enough? Eric, when we keep on hearing enough is enough, enough for who? For what? Enough is enough. It's for the state to stop the violence.
All right.
It is for them to be enough. Let's then say, for us, they should not even come and threaten us and get angry at us by telling us it's enough is enough. Enough is enough for them to stop the violence. Simple and clear.
Thank you very much.
And Eric, for all that time, wait a minute, Eric. For all that time, and I'm sorry for this, for all the aggregate times of being enough, nobody has ever considered that 115 young men are dead since last year. Nobody. No empathy, no sympathy, no apologies. Just coming to threaten people about enough is enough. When 40 people are lying in the mortuary, it's not fair.
Thank you, Professor Gola. Finally.
Mine is to say that what we have to see as a country is that Kenya has a dream. This dream is in every child. This dream is in every mother. This dream is every father has a dream for their family. And this dream cannot be sacrificed at the altar of one person's personal interest. And it's very collective. I like what my brother Wambugo used, the word nationhood. It's the patriotism that burns inside you. It's the love you have for your country. And that's what is driving the young people on the street, that love. It's not hate for the president. It's love for the country. I've never gone to the street. I've never gone to the street and seen the hatred. I always go to the street and see the love, a flag, water, and a phone. That is what has taken people to the streets. I want to say the following, that we cannot be able to sacrifice this at the altar of anybody. For the president, your one term, half term, and whatever term you have, I want to tell you, after someone has jumped from a 20-story building, you've jumped from top there, isn't it? You have no control of the consequences. Whether you'll break your leg or your head, it is. Okay. By shooting the bullet on these people, already you have jumped from this floor.
Okay.
So whether you are calling yourself one term, it might be there when you're not even there.
Right.
It's a consequence which is clear.
Okay.
Kenyans' aspiration is the following. One, every person wants a decent living.
Okay.
Cost of living, food on the table. Secondly, education.
All right.
Decent healthcare. Kenyans want to have national security.
Okay.
Kenyans want to retire in a decent life. This is what is making Kenyans repel you. And because we have seen that those things, you know them, you have not done them, you are not doing them, you have no intention to do them, you have set up a capacity of a team that cannot do them, they'll never be done, so your term should have ended yesterday. Thank you.
Well, thank you. A minute or less, Mr. Sian.
Elected.
I'm being told you're running out of time, seriously. So
it's a sovereign power of the people, and therefore he has constitutional authority over the security of the country.
All right.
So when he makes a statement that enough is enough, he's doing it because it is his personal responsibility as per the Constitution under Article 131. And therefore, he is asserting his authority and is doing it within the law and the Constitution.
All right.
And they said the country must stabilize and we cannot have lawlessness as a way of life. That's the statement the president has made. And I think let us accept as a country that we superintend a country of the rule of law and constitutional order.
Thank you.
Anything else can be transacted elsewhere.
Gajiri, I'm going to be unfair, 30 seconds or less.
Politicians are interested in political competition. That's what they do.
Yes.
Most Kenyans are interested in surviving every day. We've got 25 months where kids are going to go to school. People have to access health care. People want national security. We need to figure out how that is going to happen, even as we figure out how to do a change of regime, change of administration at the end of 25 months. I'm more interested in conversations. I mean, all things remaining constant, we're going to be here for another 100 shows. If we were to come here every week, we have another 100 shows before we get to the next election.
Okay.
We will be, we can't just be talking about the next election. We're going to have to be talking about things that are current, that are interesting to the ordinary people who are not part of the political competition of this country.
Well, thank you very much. And that's very important. Think about the ordinary people who are watching currently. Thank you so much for watching Morning Cafe, the State of the Nation. Thank you, Ngujiri Wambogu, former Member of Parliament, Nyeri Town. Sosion Wilson, former SG Nat, and also former Member of Parliament, Professor Fred Ogola, who's a governance expert, and of course, Dr. Peter Mbai, representing the newest kid on the block, politically speaking, that is the Democracy for Citizens Party, and he's also the Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs for the party. Thank you so much, but don't go away because Anne Odida will be back here with a very interesting conversation right here. Keep it here. Thank you so much.